This is a free module from our brand new course for 3D creators. It's a business-oriented course. And if you are someone who's creating assets, courses, models, and wants to sell them or selling them on platforms like Blender Market, Gumroad, or wherever else, and you're struggling and you don't know how it all works and how to make more money, then this course is going to be fantastic for you. Now, in this video, Josh will show you how our business is structured and how we operate, and more importantly, how we were able to make over $2.5 million in 6 years. So enjoy the video, and if you would like to access the full course, it's on blenderbros.com/business, or you can also click on the link in the video description.
Hey guys, before we get into any of the training material here, I want to give you kind of a high-level overview, kind of showing you how this entire thing is structured, how the whole thing works. So that way when you start watching the modules, you have a general understanding of how everything works. You can kind of feel a bit more comfortable with this whole business model and this structure. So what I want to do here is I want to show you how this looks from the customer perspective and how this looks from our perspective as the business owners. I want to give you like an idea of how that relationship looks so you can really understand how these types of businesses should be built and things like that. Now, before I do any of this, I want to quickly show you the common misconception that the vast majority of Blender users think to be true. They think that they should be selling on platforms like Blender Market or Gumroad. I see this all the time. People have a very good tool or a plugin or a course, it doesn't matter. They have a very good tool to sell. So they think, okay, I'm going to go upload this to Blender Market. And they might get some sales. They might do okay, right? We've made hundreds of thousands on Blender Market as well, so I'm not speaking out of my ass. The issue with these platforms is, yes, there's no question you can get sales on these platforms. That is objectively true. You can make sales on these platforms, but you're going to make nowhere near as much as you could compared to selling on your own platform. And these aren't hard to set up. It's not like selling on your own platform. You have to write a bunch of code. I don't know how to code at all. I just use a software called Kajabi to do this, and there's a ton of them out there, right? Blender Market is a marketplace at its core, and what people are doing is they're visiting these sites and they're just browsing. They're going in here, they're browsing, and maybe they buy, maybe they don't. It doesn't matter. The issue here is you're competing with tens of thousands of products, and people, again, they're browsing, they're clicking away, they're distracted. Like if I go into this particular add-on, for example, the landing page is not good. And this isn't a fault of the creator. This is just the platform limitation. It's just not built for conversion. And then there's a million buttons up here for people to click away from, right? So there's no doubt like these people get sales. You can objectively sell on these platforms and get get sales. We've done this before. We've made multiple six figures selling on platforms like this. But you will be leaving a ton of money on the table, and that'll be like, it'll make more sense as you go through the training modules here. And excuse my voice, I'm just getting over I don't know what I got, some sort of virus. But yeah, this is the main issue with these platforms. Not to mention, if you were to buy a product, there's no upsells behind the scenes. There's very limited email marketing. There's no order bump options. The most you can really do is make like an order variation here. So just trust me on this. Like if you're going to trust somebody, please trust me on this because I'm speaking from experience. I'm going to go back to this is the school group you're in. I'm going to go back here and just show you. We have made over 2 million on our own platform at very, very high profit margins. So please just take my word on this. Just blindly believe me because I know what I'm talking about because we've done this before. So now what I want to do here is show you kind of how this whole ecosystem works and how everything's kind of built, okay? So if you go to blenderbros.com, which is our website, this is probably what you'll see. The page might be slightly different, right? But this is probably what you're going to see when you go to blenderbros.com. You're just going to see our products here, okay? Now, in our case, we have multiple courses, multiple products, things like that. So if you only have like one product, for example, you're probably not going to have this. You'll probably just send them directly to that product page. But since I have a ton of products, right, I'm not just going to send them to one particular one. The website's just going to be like our catalog of items here. Next, what I have is a reviews page here. This just exists to provide proof. I don't know if this helps. There's no way to really track it. But I would assume anybody visiting our website, when they see all of these results here, they're going to be like, okay, I trust these guys. They clearly know what they're doing. Any comment, any email, anything we get with results, I post in here because I want to prove that our stuff works. Now, if you're new to this, or maybe you're not selling anything yet, you might not have results, and that's fine. You can do completely fine without providing proof. You just need a good offer, a good product at the end of the day, right? So yeah, that's the second tab. And the third tab I have here is a contact us tab. And I literally just put my email here. Hey, if you have a question, email us. This is our entire website. I cannot tell you the amount of people that try building digital product businesses like this, and they think they need some long about page. They think they need some like super long like homepage explaining, oh, here's my degree, here's my history, here's what I do, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. You need to fundamentally understand that every single human is inherently selfish and they do not care about you whatsoever. This is a hard truth I found out through business. The only people who really care about you are your friends and family. That's it. Random people on the internet, they don't know you. They don't care about you. They care about, is your product good and will it help them? So don't pamper your site and your platform with a bunch of stuff. Don't create a website. Create a place to send traffic to for them to buy. That's all you need to do. Do not do anything else. Send them to a page where you explain your product and then give them a link to buy it. Don't do anything else. Make it as simple and streamlined as possible. This is the fundamental problem, again, with platforms like, how do I get back to Blender Market? Let me load that back up. This is the fundamental issue with platforms like this. When you send them here, you're sending them to a million other products. You want people to be focused and focused on your own product. You'll notice I don't have any external links here. I don't have anywhere for people to go. If I send them to this page, they can either see what the product is and buy it, or they can close the tab. Those are basically the only options they have, right? They can scroll through this page and learn about the product, watch the, explanation video here. And this is all public, by the way. Like, you can go to our website and like reverse engineer what we're doing. You can do that, right? So that is essentially how this whole business infrastructure works at its core. And I'm going to show you behind the scenes here, and the actual modules of this training program will explain like all the individual things, like how to build a landing page, how to create the offer, how to do email marketing, how to track your data. This is just a high level overview. So if it's a little bit confusing, don't worry, because the modules are going to go deeper into that. Okay. So again, feel free to go to blenderbros.com, just look at this, absorb it, understand how this works. So obviously you're going to want a product. And if you don't have a product yet, but you have a product idea, there's going to be a training module in here on offer creation. Ideally, if you're in here, you have some sort of product you're selling, right? That's the most ideal situation. So if your product's good, which you shouldn't be making crappy products, you should have a good product that you want to sell. The main bottlenecks I see with people are how they get traffic over to that product page and how they actually get sales, and also how to price everything. what you want to, let's say for example, here's our plasticity program. We sell a course teaching the plasticity software. So what I do is I send all of our traffic to this page here. Okay, if you go to any of our plasticity videos on YouTube, and I'll hop into that in a second, we send them to this URL. If we're doing a Blender video, I might send them to this URL, right? And if you don't have multiple products, that's fine. You'll just send them to that one product. If I'm teaching hard ops and box cutter, I send them to this URL. It's very simple, and I'll kind of give you an example here. So again, you can reverse engineer like everything we're doing. So if you go to my YouTube channel here, I don't want you to get swayed by the subscriber count. I know you're like, oh, that's impossible for me to get. Forget the subscriber count, right? Subscribers really don't matter anymore. YouTube's algorithm has shifted. Most people I watch, I'm not even subscribed to, okay? If you go to videos, you're also going to see I don't get that many views, right? I really don't get that many views anymore. So I want you to remove this idea that you need like to go viral or stuff like that. You really don't, okay? So what I do in my videos now, or I've always done this, is in the video, I'm obviously teaching something, and then I'm linking the most relevant product. So ideally your videos, your content, maybe you're doing Instagram, what you're going to be doing is just sending them to that unique URL, which is going to have your product page. And I'll show you how these are built out. There's also a module in here showing you how they're built out. So basically what I do is I have a link in the top of the YouTube description right here, which links to that same URL, to our accelerator program. Now this is not important at first, but I also have this thing called an EL parameter, which basically allows you to track where the person purchased from. And I can actually view that data in a software called Ryuu. Now, I obviously need to hide the emails of some of the buyers here, but I can see like where they bought from. This is not important at first. You just want to get sales at first, but I'm just kind of showing you what that is just because it was already there. So that is basically what I do. I'm producing content, and I'm not just doing YouTube anymore. I'm also doing Instagram. So on Instagram here, I have a link to our products in the bio. If it's just one product you're selling, you would link yours in there. I've found for Instagram, it's actually better to use this software here called ManyChat, which basically what you can do, and I'll show you, is you can make content. You can even go to our Instagram and just watch a video as an example. You can make content in here, and then you could say, hey, if you want to get access to this tool, get access to this training, whatever, comment this keyword, and then I'll send it to you. And then in ManyChat, you can just set that up. You just connect it to your Instagram. And when someone comments on your post or your reel, and the comment has whatever that keyword is, you're basically just going to say, hey, I sent you a link to your DMs. This software will automatically do that for you. And then what's going to happen is they'll get a link and they can click it, and it's going to link again to that same exact URL. This is the same URL I'm linking to on YouTube. This is just a different traffic source. Maybe you're doing Instagram, for example. And then, like there's all sorts of different platforms you can sell on: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Those are the big ones, right? So that's all I do is I produce the content. I send them whatever content I'm using, right? Whatever video I've made. I'm linking them to that URL, to that landing page. Click on that, and I think you get the point. And then it links here to the product page. That is the traffic generation portion, right? I get them to the product page. Now, as for how these pages are actually built, again, we have a module on this, and it should make more sense. I use a platform called Kajabi. Kajabi is an online course hosting platform. You can host digital products on there as well. There's also Go High Level. ClickFunnels is a big one. Just pick one that works. Those three are probably the most popular. And basically what I have here, this is my hard surface accelerator page. This is where I'm sending people, but behind the scenes, this is what I'm seeing here. This is just like all customizable. I can go in here, I can add images, URLs. And now the nice thing about this is you can build these landing pages with Claude. Nowadays, most of my pages, I used to outsource this. These would cost like thousands of dollars to build. Now I can build these in like an hour or two, just yapping to Claude. Like literally, you would go into Claude, you'd make a new chat, and you just say, hey, I'm working on a page, feed it information about the product, help me build out, in this color scheme, this style, help me build out the landing page. And again, use your brain, use common sense, watch tutorials on building landing pages if you need to. Like, I'm not here to build the page for you, right? You can contact me if you want that done, but ultimately, I'm here to show you how this works. So you just build out the landing page, you connect the URL to it. It's a bit technical, but you can get it done. Just use your brain. And this is where you're going to send your audience to. You're going to send them to your product page, which should be built in a platform like Kajabi, ClickFunnels, Go High Level, things like that. So that's how I get traffic to the page. And I also need to make sure that I convert that traffic into sales. And the way I do that is I track how many views did this landing page get and how many sales did I get. So for example, in Kajabi, I could go in here to page views, and let me just wait. And I just want to filter this by the actual landing page. So for example, for our accelerator page, I can see how many unique views I'm getting on there, every single day. And then I want to see, okay, if I got 200 views and I got 4 sales, that's a 2% conversion rate. And those conversion rates are going to depend on your price. Our price point is at $97. We have a training in here talking about pricing and things like that. But yeah, it's $97. You're obviously going to have a different conversion rate at that price compared to if it was 2, right? And the next thing I focus on is making really as much money per transaction as possible. And this is another fundamental limitation of Superhive, or Blender Market rather. On Superhive, you have the option to buy the main product, and you could make like a pro or a studio version and make a little bit more money per transaction by doing that. The issue is after they buy, there's no order bumps, there's no upsells, there's no downsells, and you're losing a significant chunk per transaction. Like you could have the world's crappiest upsell. I'm not suggesting that, but by just adding the upsell, you will have a percentage of people that get it. That's just like an objective fact. Here, you physically can't add it. It's like a technical limitation. You physically cannot add it. This is just like costing you so much money, a ton. Now, I'm going to show you how our upsell looks. I'm just going to go here to landing pages. This is my current upsell page, and yours could be different. And basically what I have here is I have an offer for people to get basically all of our products for 80% off. And this is what happens after they purchase. They're redirected to this page here. And then I show them, hey, you're going to get all this stuff for 80% off. And then they can click on this button and they can buy it for that discount, right? Or they can click the no thanks button, and that will just redirect them to a downsell page where I offer them a payment plan option. This is, even if you do it badly, going to make you additional revenue. It just will. And you can't build this in Blender Market or Gumroad or stuff like that. This is why you need to be on a sales funnel platform so you can build stuff like this, especially if you don't have a ton of traffic coming in. You need to maximize the amount of revenue you're making per transaction. You just have to do it, okay? So that's basically how that looks. And yeah, that is essentially how our funnel works at like a high level. And then every single month, what I also do is I email our customers probably 4 or 5 times a week, and I just provide valuable information about Blender, about our niche. That's all I do. And then once per month for about a week, I do a deadline-oriented offer. This could be a new product launch. This could be a discount. This could be like a Black Friday special. And those email campaigns provide basically a huge cash injection into the business, and they don't really take that long to write. Like, for example, I had a 4th of July sale that we just ran. Not that I'm too crazy about it, but it's just like most brands run it. So I can go in here. I need to hide that info again and go to the preview. And yeah, I just literally linked them to like a discounted page, and I made additional revenue that way. So email is a huge, huge pillar. So that's why I really want to have a platform where I can kind of do all of this all in one. Now, a lot of people tell me, they're like, Josh, I sell a plugin. I don't sell anything else. I sell, a cheap $10 plugin. I don't have anything else to sell. Well, that's your first massive issue, is you're selling a single $10 tool. Now just run the math there. If 2% of your landing page visitors buy that, do you know how many human beings need to be viewing your page to make any significant amount of money? It's just mathematically unrealistic. It's not that you suck or your product sucks. Your funnel's built wrong. Your pricing's all over the place. What you probably need to do is up the price, add some order bumps, add some downsells, add some upsells, and create more offers, create more products. And then some people will say, oh, I don't want to make more products. Okay, that's fine. But now your only two options are to get more traffic on that product, which, let me tell you, is the hardest part of it. It's objectively one of the hardest parts. So that's one of your options. And the second option is you can optimize like the conversion rates and play with the pricing and things like that. But those have marginal returns. Those won't make too much of a difference. So people that do that, you are mathematically going to be capped at a certain revenue number. That's just a fact. So what you really want to be doing is creating new offers, creating new products, creating, you could have like a high ticket service, maybe you have a done for you service. You could charge thousands of dollars for that. Maybe you have a recurring revenue offer, right? Where people are paying you monthly for something. These are things that you really need to be considering in your Blender product business. And if you're just selling some cheap tool on Blender Market or Gumroad, how do you expect to make any significant amount of money? It's just mathematically not likely. So really the whole way the process works is like this. You have YouTube, you have Facebook, you might have IG or TikTok. These are your traffic sources, right? Those are like the main four. And then you're going to send them to a landing page, LP for landing page, and then checkout page. Go checkout. I should probably write this all out so you can remember what that means. LP landing page. Then you have a checkout page. Then you have an upsell. You can even have a second upsell if you want. You can add a downsell with like a payment plan option. And you might think, oh, I don't have an upsell or downsell. We'll make one, right? I can help you with that. If you have questions, comment in the community. I'm happy to help you with it. But yeah, just make one. Like, okay, I don't have this. We'll make it. I don't have this. We'll make it. Well, I don't want to make it. Well, how are you gonna succeed? You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff I speak to people with on a daily basis. Like, just get it done. Just do it properly. You only have to do it once, and I'm happy to help you with this. That's the point of this community. And then I just send them to like a thank you page. And on the thank you page, you could have like another offer or something like that. And then email. I sell even more through email. And then it's just a matter of figuring out like, where's your bottleneck? Like, if you don't have a lot of traffic coming in, pump more traffic, do more content, do more of that. If you have a lot of traffic or views coming in, then you might see, okay, I don't have a ton of sales. Well, now you might need to optimize this, improve the conversion rate here. And then for like the upsells and downsells, this can help you make more revenue per customer. This is called AOV, average order value. This can help you make more per transaction. And this here, email, is for making more revenue per customer. We also call this LTV, lifetime value. So you can sell more stuff and make more money per customer. So at any point, there's always going to be, remember this, TCE. T is for traffic, really need to get like something to write with, not just my mouse. T is for traffic. C is for conversions. Okay. And then E, and ignore my clicking. And E is for economics. At any point, one of these are going to be weak. If you don't have any traffic coming in, this doesn't matter because you have no people viewing your page. If you have a lot of traffic coming in, but nobody's buying, this is the issue. Maybe the offer sucks. Maybe the landing page sucks, things like that. If you have a lot of traffic and you're converting that traffic well, which is kind of the position we're in right now you got to work on your economics. You need to make more revenue per customer. And if you can't do that, then you need to pump more traffic. So at any point, one of these here is going to be the main bottleneck. And you just have to consistently refine and optimize that. But as like, if I had to give you one piece of advice in this video, and then the rest are just going to be like pure information, so you can start working on this. Price your Blender product. Again, this is contextual, but a lot of you are selling courses or plugins, things like that. I found the sweet spot to be between $50 and $100. Okay. As for conversion rates, aim between 1% and 2%. Okay. That should be very feasible. If you were trying to aim for 10%, it's not going to happen. That's just not the reality of the world. It's going to be between 1% and 2%, which again is why you need your pricing to be right. Because like most people that are willing to spend $5, the same amount of people would probably spend 20, 30 bucks. So it just makes sense to just lift the price, just lift it, right? And yeah, once you do that, you need the sales funnel built out properly with upsells, downsells, order bumps. You need to be doing email marketing properly. You need to make sure your pages are converting well. You need to track your data. You need to do all this stuff so you can actually see, how the numbers look. And if you don't have our tracking sheet, you really need to, grab a copy. I'll put it in here somewhere. But this is let me go back here to June because that month was done. You can see in June, kind of like the daily numbers. Some were super low, some were super high. And then the email marketing comes in. That does like a huge cash injection. And yeah, we have that profit there. And then there's like additional things we are selling that I don't track on the sheets. Like our services and things like that. I don't actually incorporate that into here. So this was closer to, I think, 35 for that month. And yeah, you can just track all this information. So really what I want you to do is I want you to go to our website. I want you to kind of see how this is set up. And you can kind of see that I have different landing pages for different products. And I explain what the product does. Pretty much all our pricing is the same, $97. If that sounds too expensive, remember this. The price you think your customers are willing to pay is often not the reality. If you think it's too expensive, the reality is it's usually not too expensive. It's just you've been brainwashed by platforms like Gumroad and Blender Market with people selling cheap stuff that you think that's the default. Trust me, it's not. This is how you should be doing it. Everybody else, they're literally doing it wrong. Yeah, they might be getting sales, but they are objectively doing it wrong. They're just wrong. So this is the right way to do things. Price properly, build a good sales funnel, add upsells, add order bumps. Like I have an order bump right here. Build out the products. And if any of this is confusing or you need help, go through the rest of the modules in this training program. Because again, this was just a high level overview. And then if you have any questions at all or need help, comment in the community and tag me, ask me for advice, do that type of stuff. So what I want you to do next is go into the business development part and start watching all these modules here because I'm going to go deep into each individual topic that you need to know and understand because this is just a high level overview. So make sure you go through all this, take notes. You have the Word documents here as well that you can download. And again, if you have any questions, hit up the community section and just ask me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the free module. And like I said, if you are planning to sell 3D assets, courses, etc., or you are selling them and you're struggling and you don't know what you're doing wrong, then you definitely need some structured guidance and help. And the Blender Bros business course is going to help you with this 100%. Go to blenderbros.com/business and enjoy the course. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.